That's a great question because I actually made the same mistake as well, right? I got to a point where I just thought, oh, someone else can handle this for me. I'm going to pass it on to closers and appointment setters and stuff. And I experimented with some and they were all great and stuff, but I just found out that it was too early because it was about maybe, I think a year or maybe even before that, 8 months into me really launching this coaching business. And I was starting to pass things off because I was scaling pretty quickly and I just thought, oh, okay, I can do this now. But I learned so much, and I always say success is built on a pile of failures. And the more failures we make, the more we learn, and the faster we get the results we want. And so, what I learned from that is that don't be in a rush. Like the advice that I would give all the coaches is like pay the effort tax, pay the sweat tax, because if you do that in the beginning, you will have laid the foundation for your business. You will have gone through so many calls yourself. Also, make sure you're recording them. This practical tip, any call that you're doing, ask the person before that's going to be recorded, but, record as many calls as you can so that when you do hire a closer, when you do hire someone, they have information they can just listen to. They know your style. They know how you answer objections. They know what you say when. I think that's very, very important. And so the question you asked is, how do you basically get from, where I am, becoming the brand, really becoming that personality to having someone else do it. In the beginning, I always tell my clients that you're going to be in foundational selling. And what that is that you're selling your energy. People want a piece of you. They want, if you're the one that's coming up on the trainings and the posts and stuff like that, people want to work with you. Right. And so essentially they're buying a piece of you. They're buying your time. They're buying a service or a coaching program you're offering. And so they want to speak to you, the main guy or girl. And that's very, very important. So I say up to your first 100,000 or actually even your multiple first few $100,000s of dollars, you really want to make it about you because you're going to realize that foundational selling is you selling your energy. Now, when you get to the place where your business is scaling comfortably, you've been closing most of the sales calls, and you really just need help, because your calendar is booking up. The practical advice is when your calendar is booking up with calls, there's more calls there that you can take. That's when you want to start hiring a closer. That's when you want to start getting an appointment setter, because then even if in the beginning, as you're training them, they take some calls and they're no's or they don't get the sale, it's okay. It's not going to really hurt your business. But if you just pass on all of your sales calls in one day to a new closer who you haven't trained, I mean, that's how you go broke, right? That's how people go out of business that was actually doing really well, because they just kind of want to get rid of that thing. And so one component of that is we were talking about, not fearing the sales calls, seeing it as something that can energize you. I think I've spoken to lots of colleagues, 7-figure, 8-figure earners as well, who've told me that they just hate getting on sales calls. And I think there's this huge idea around sales calls now about how they're so difficult, they're so hard. But like I said, if you come from that place of I'm going to get on here, it's going to be fun, I'm going to genuinely try to help this person, and I'm going to try everything I can to help them, get them to a yes. But if they don't, it's totally fine. Having that approach really changes the game versus being way too attached to the result or thinking way too much or having too much anxiety or fear about, oh my God, I have to get the yes. What if they say no? I think that's when people start dreading each sales call because they see it as a big chore or task. Of course, it requires energy. Of course, talking to someone does require brain power. And I think that's another reason why people want to pass it off. But it's one of those things, it's if you really want to build a 7-figure, multi-million-dollar business, you are going to have to put in some effort. You're going to have to put in that effort tax, like I call it, in the beginning. And, you want to really do that. You want to put in the time in the beginning so that you can build a long-term sustainable coaching business that can run without you eventually. So what I'm currently doing in my business is I have an appointment setter. I'm training as well as a closer. So then he'll eventually be taking calls for me because he's learning my style. He learns how I talk to people. He studies it. And so then basically what happens now is, he can take over because he's getting trained while he's talking to clients, while he's booking calls. He's getting trained, and so I can slowly pass that on. So it's transitioning that. So I'll still be taking some of the calls, and then he'll be taking some, and then eventually him and maybe other closers I hire in the future will be taking all of them. And that's me moving away from foundational selling, where I'm just selling my energy, to advanced selling, which is where the product or service is selling itself. So I'm still a part of the branding, but the students' results, the students' testimonials, the social proof I have are going to do the selling for me. And so I don't have to be so involved in the process. People will see the marketing post, they'll see the results my clients are getting, and they'll say, I want to join that program. And so even if I can't talk to him directly on the sales call, I still want to join his program because I know he's in it. I know I'll get his stuff, I want his material. And so that's when you really move to that next layer of advanced selling, where you don't have to be the one who's out there, because you reach a point where there's only one you can't be everywhere. And so most people make the mistake of doing that too quickly. So I would say slow down the first few months of that first year or two and really focus on building that foundation. Sell yourself, people want to buy you. And then after that, transition slowly, get that social proof, get your clients amazing results, so that your service, the results of your clients, can do the selling for you. And that's when you can kind of step back and you don't have to be the face of the sales calls every single time.